Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Problems Are a Sign of Life. Well, I've got 3 different emails I'm going to go through with you today. The first one's a really good email where a guy was just sitting home one night. When I first started working with him, he was debating whether he should get divorced, stay with his wife, so he since made the decision to leave. And he's like, one night he's sitting home, he's like, I want to meet somebody. And he's like, he got off his ass, went to the mall, and met a woman at a beauty queen, actually, a beauty pageant winner. I'm not going to tell you which one, but she's fucking hot. He just happened to run into her in the mall. And so I've got a couple other success stories. The second guy goes through a lot of things that he's gone through over the past couple of years and things he's overcome. And he came from a difficult background, and so he shares what he's learned and talks about the woman that he's dating now and how everything is great in his life. And obviously the third one is from a guy who's been following my work for a couple of years, and he's now very happy. He's got the girl of his dreams, and he's engaged to get married, which is awesome. So I got a quote that I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to jump into the first guy's email. And the quote says, "Our problems, challenges, and struggles are what shapes us into what we are capable of becoming. Like a good lover can help smooth over our rough edges, our most challenging times and darkest hours can help us to become humble, grateful, teach us patience and understanding, and help us to find the gift in every situation. We often have no control over the things that happen to us in life, but if we look for the hidden gift, lesson, and meaning in every setback, disappointment, challenge, and failure, we can become a little better today than we were yesterday. Small incremental daily improvements can teach us how to master ourselves, our lives, and our fates slowly over time." So let's jump into the first guy's email. He says, "Holy shit, coach, something happened tonight that has blown my mind. I was sitting in my new place. I'm all moved in. The divorce papers are filed, and I just decide, fuck it. I'm going to the mall to talk to women, and maybe I'll get some numbers." He says, "Well, I talked to a few. One is already dating somebody. Another isn't interested, and I'm like, damn, 2 strikes. Another couple I talk to, but I don't ask for the number. Then I find this store in the mall, and I have no idea what kind of store it is, but a woman there just blows my mind. So I just calmly walk in there like James Bond and start talking. She's a total 10 out of 10, a model. She's young, 18 or 19, I think. She eagerly shows me around the store, and turns out it's a woman's clothing and jewelry store, and I had no idea. She's smiling and playing with her hair and shaking her leg. Definitely indicators of interest." And he sent a picture of this girl, and I looked her up. I think she was 19, if I remember right, and she's fucking bad to the bone, dude. She won I'm not going to say which state, but she won the Miss whatever of her state, and she's fucking hot. I would totally go out with her. He says, "After about 10 minutes, I tell her she's a lot of fun and has good energy, and I'd like to give her a call." He says, "My heart was pounding. She smiled and said, sure, absolutely." Why did that happen? Because she likes him. Attraction is not a choice. He came in, he walked in there with confidence, he was fun, he was playful, he engaged her in conversation, then he communicated exactly what he was thinking and feeling. And she said, sure. Why? Because she felt safe and comfortable with him, and she liked him. He says, "I put her number in my phone, I smiled and said, have a good night, it was nice to meet you. I found out she's a model after Googling her name," and obviously this is her picture, which I'm not going to share it. "But trust me, she's fucking gorgeous. She won her state beauty pageant. She's young, sexy, long hair. She eagerly gave me her number." That's what you're looking for. A woman who's like, fuck yeah. No resistance, no hesitation. And you notice the first couple of women that he was talking to, they gave him a lot of resistance or turned him down or they weren't interested. That's okay. That's what you're going to experience. Then boom, you meet one better looking than all of the ones he had talked to previously, and she really likes him. That's just the way it goes. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why you keep circulating. That's why I say, for those of you like, oh, I have a hard time meeting women, ask out 100 women over the course of a month. Because when you do that, this is what happens. It's a numbers game. He says, whether or not anything comes of it really isn't the point for me. What is important is that I just did this. Thank the universe for your work and you helping me make the decision to leave my marriage and go for what I want. Each time I go and talk to people, I feel more masculine energy. I have the tools to handle this situation with her now and not be needy. You're the man. Great fucking job, dude. I am really happy for you. It's awesome that you recognize that you were not in a happy marriage and you did something about it. He's living in his new place. His divorce papers are filed. He wants to meet somebody. He decides to meet somebody. And what does he do? He leaves his place. He goes to the mall. And he meets a fucking beauty contest winner. Fucking goddess. Good fucking job, dude. Proud of you. That's awesome. So let's move on to the second guy's email. He says, hey, Corey, how you doing today? Fucking awesome, as always. How else could I be? He says, it's very exciting to be writing and sharing my recent success stories with you. Why? Because after 4 years of a painful full-time working schedule, hard moments, and tough research and self-development seasons, I can smell, feel, and appreciate every single success and failure I get. Notice how he says he appreciates the successes and the failures. Because every time you take action, you're going to get results. Good or bad, you get results. And no matter what happens, when you get results, you're going to learn something from those results. He says, I remember when we look back at life, we can connect the dots, clarify, and rethink situations and people, and give it a new meaning that enlightens our lives in a spiritual way. He says, it's only through struggle have I found all the meaning in the good and the bad. Let me share a bit of my story. When I was in 9th grade, I was needy, shy, I was a nice guy, I was weak, pathetic, but I had a heart that made me surpass anything. I got bullied physically and verbally by colleagues at school and by my parents. I cried at night in misery, believing I would never be loved and meet a woman that I could love and fuck like King Kong would if he had a female monkey of his size. I haven't heard that analogy before. But you say he was in a dark place at one point in his life. He says, friends were short, my self-esteem was non-existent, and I had thoughts that were leading to self-destruction. So in other words, you probably had suicidal thoughts. He says, and I had a lot of them. He says, I have many dreams, coach, and I'm still not resting like I said earlier, and I never will. Life is constant growth. It's like what Tony Robbins says. He has this analogy, as acronym, CANI, C-A-N-I. It stands for constant and never-ending improvement. He says, I started researching everything on women, dating, seducing, pickup, and what amazed me was that I already had everything inside me. It was just suffocated by fear, guilt, and shame. And that's what keeps most people from doing anything to help themselves. You got to participate in your own rescue. He says, until I discovered a true man faces the most in life. He says, there is no such thing as the building of a man without pain or courage. Not knowing, but still pushing forward mentally, physically, and spiritually. I faced my parents and my bullies. I was willing to fight them and bleed for my freedom, and for me, I will do anything. I actually fought physically with my father and my mother, who never had anything positive to say to me and abused me as a child. Well, obviously you got to a point where you said, this is the fucking line, do not fucking cross it. And I agree what he says in his next statement. He says, parents should be your rock and your safe zone as a kid. And not having that, I experienced dark feelings that no one should experience. I started pushing myself, discovering bad and positive references for women. And I got to write a book of mine with everything I got, including quotes from you and information stored in the pages of your coaching manual that you freely give to us. He says, a great quote that I really loved was a Chinese proverb. This is one of my favorites too. And the quote says, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man polished without trials." That quote really inspired me. I pushed through on self-incantations as Tony Robbins described, to become more emotionally stable and attract greater circumstances to me. And it worked. I became more and more alpha like I wanted. I got to kiss a few girls, and I got my first ever girlfriend, which in the end I fucked it up. But I learned greatly from it. I love pain. It's such, as an old drill sergeant once said, "Pain is just weakness leaving the body." He says it's such a great teacher, and I realize that we become weaker with peace and stronger with war. What's like Sun Tzu said, if you want war, prepare for peace. If you want peace, prepare for war. In other words, walk softly but carry a big fucking stick. Something I wish our fucking president would do, because he's a fucking pussy. I'm sure people go, I'm sure I'll get some hateful comments about that, but fucking A, our president's a fucking coward and a pussy. And that's why you see all the shit going on around the world, because he's fucking bitching out and he's not being a fucking man. He says, I pushed the bullies away and I became single and independent from my demons. I met that amazing hot girl at the disco, and we fucked, and ever since I was in her head and she was in both my heads, if you know what I mean. She contacted me and I followed what you teach, and she fell in love with me. And I'm not in college, she's an hour and a half away from me, and she kept pursuing, and I got to spend my first time in a bed all night with her, both loving each other, fucking each other's brains out, and having experiences I never had before. He says, Coach, it's magical, unbelievable. This is your fucking birthright. Your birthright is to have an awesome life and be getting your brains fucked out by somebody who is fucking amazing and awesome. Because unless you believe and you feel in your heart that they're amazing, you're not going to put the effort into it to really make it spectacular. He says, everything made me attract this. Your work, my work, the universe brought me such an incredible time. She keeps pursuing me, texting me, saying she misses me, that I am hers and no one else's. I brought her to my place. She was lying in bed next to me watching a movie, and suddenly she said for me to look at her. She was smiling with her mouth, eyes, and body, and then she asked, do you want to be my boyfriend? Nice fucking job. This is what happens when you apply the things that I teach in my book. This is what easy and effortless looks like. And this guy talks about all of his struggles and all the shit that he went through to get to this moment. So good fucking job, dude. I'm proud of you. He says, I couldn't fucking believe it. It was like the heaven when I heard those words. She wants to introduce me to her family and says she can't wait to meet my family. A man truly is what he thinks and truly attracts what he feels. Only through struggle can we find rest. She let me do her facials, which I find so sexy and submissive in every way. All right, dude. Well, if you like to get in touch with your feminine side like that, whatever floats your boat. He says, I'm glad because my life is bringing me moments that few people have, and it really reminds me that looking back all those years of struggle, I can confirm this. When you are willing to do something that others won't, tomorrow you will get what others can't. Well, that's a quote from Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, former fucking amazing. I think he played for 2 decades, 20 years in the NFL. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's probably the most amazing NFL receiver that ever played the game. And a credo that he lived by, he said, today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. He says, I'm making new friends, I'm partying, I have a great relationship, I'm still going to the gym, I'm getting bigger, I'm practicing my guitar, and hopefully someday I hope to be a heavy metal guru and playing alongside Metallica and Bullet for my Valentine. I can't thank you enough for existing and having created such a great tool that affects everything in a constructive, positive way. And when I get rich, you'll be sleeping in an opulent palace of gold. Keep making the world a better place. Peace. Fucking great job, dude. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. That guy went from having suicidal thoughts of ending his life, growing up in a family where his parents were abusive, and look at it. He's got a woman that looks him right in the eye and says, "Will you be my boyfriend?" Fucking awesome. That's a hell of a compliment to him and how he's showing up. And the last email is just a short success story, and this guy says, "Hey Corey, I just want to say thanks for all of the amazing advice. Literally every word you said was spot on, and I now have the girl of my dreams in my life. I'm engaged to be married, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much." Those are some awesome fucking emails. I hope they inspire you. And if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.